Hello and welcome to Making Legacy IBM Systems Visible in ServiceNow. Today's webinar is sponsored by Precisely and produced by Actual Tech Media. My name is Scott Becker. I'm from Actual Tech Media and I'm excited to be your moderator for this special event. Now, before we get to today's great content, we do have a few housekeeping items that will help you get the most out of this session. First off, we want this to be an informative event for you, so we encourage any questions in the questions box in your webinar control panel. Not only will we have team members responding to questions during the live event, but we'll also have a dedicated Q&A session at the end of the presentation where we'll discuss in greater detail some of the top questions that you ask. That Q&A panel is also a place to let us know about any technical issues that you might be experiencing. A browser refresh will fix most audio, video, or slide advancement issues, but if that doesn't work, just let us know there in the Q&A, and we'll provide further technical assistance. Now, second, in the handout section of your webinar control panel, you're going to find that we're offering several resources, and I'd especially like to call your attention to a link to get started with Precisely. You can also find a link to the Gorilla Guide Book Club, where you can get access to Actual Tech Media's great printed resources on technology topics, as well as a link to the ITOM Event Center, which has our calendar of upcoming events. So I encourage you to access those resources now and share them with your friends and colleagues. Now, third, at the end of this event, we will be awarding a $250 Amazon gift card to one lucky registrant. Of course, you must be in attendance during the live event to qualify for the prize. Official terms and conditions of today's prize drawing can be found in the handout section. Just scroll to the bottom, and you'll find the prize terms and conditions link there. All right, with that, let's get straight to today's fantastic content. It's my pleasure to introduce you to our presenter today. We have Ian Hartley, who's Senior Director of Product Management at Precisely. So Ian, take it away.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us today and taking some time out of your busy schedule. I know everybody's busy in these interesting times that we're currently living through. My name's Ian Hartley. I am the Product Management Director for the Ironstream line of products here at Precisely. And today I'm going to hopefully relatively quickly walk you through the journey you can go on with making legacy IBM systems visible within a platform such as ServiceNow. There will be an opportunity to ask questions as we go. If you could add them into the chat, that would be great. We will try to address those at the end. I do have a few slides to get through today, so I'm hopefully we will be able to finish on time, if not slightly ahead of time. So if you do have any questions that don't get answered today, please feel free to reach out to us at any time. We're very happy to take those questions after this event. So with that said, let's dive in. Mainframes and IBM I systems have been around for quite some time. And the assumption here is that most of you have some kind of interest in these platforms. So some of this information on the current slide will probably be of no surprise to you. For example, that mainframe and IBM I still play a very important role in many organizations. Typically, these organizations operate at a scale where mainframe and IBM I justify their existence. Because they do process a lot of valuable data. They are quite often the system of record for many systems and have been for many, many years. And typically, they offer good return on that investment, and that's why they still have a presence in today's data centers. Here at Precisely, we speak with many organizations around the world on a day-to-day basis, and we hear over and over again that these platforms are generally here to stay, especially as they do underpin and take part in mission-critical systems for today's modern business. And in fact, as you probably know, these machines are very capable of playing a key part in these modern environments and taking advantage of many modern up-to-date technologies. So they are here to stay for a little while. But when it comes to monitoring the health and status of the mainframe and IBM I systems, generally we see it falling into two broad categories: IT operations and security. and compliance, very closely aligned there. For both of these areas, you really have a choice of either monitoring on platform using traditional tools and reports, and you can get some really good insight into what's going on within these various areas of those environments. But this typically means that the information is siloed and it's kept within a small specialist team. And this can mean that operations and security teams don't necessarily have the visibility and information that they need to do their daily work. Or the alternative is monitoring that is done off-platform, getting the information into modern tools such as ServiceNow. Typically, tools and platforms like ServiceNow allow you to easily get metrics that you need, but usually this is limited to the more modern systems, things like Windows servers or Linux machines or cloud environments. So when you want to monitor legacy systems, mainframe and IBM I, you will find that they have not necessarily been factored into this bigger picture. They are generally excluded, and they are no longer important, right? So that's how they've been looked at. Well, as we've said, they are still important, so that kind of is wrong. They are important machines, they are important platforms, they handle a lot of valuable, critical data. So it is important that these platforms are opened up and may, given access to these environments where today's analytics and operation platforms such as ServiceNow, Splunk, Elastic, and many others can operate across the business, integrating those facilities together. Mainframe and IBM I do have a wealth of metrics. They are probably some of the best metered machines for recording activities and status for both hardware and software. But there are challenges in making this information available to today's analytics tools. It's not so easy to share data points with the teams that need to understand them. Mainframe and IBM I use EBCDIC, not ASCII, for character encoding. There are complex data formats such as SMF. This was typically designed by IBM for their own use, at least in the outset. And the kind of format and the structure of that information is not so user-friendly. And also data volumes of log data in particular can be significantly higher than other platforms. These machines can produce a lot of information, just recording out basic activities, number of transactions, for example. A lot of that information generated over a very short period of time. That can be a challenge to deal with. And all of this adds up to a very challenging scenario when trying to work with both mainframe and IBM I. And even for those who have made some progress in getting some of this information off platform, do not necessarily get it when they need it or at the right level of detail. For example, when it comes to security, the information about an unusual data transfer, something that is a little bit of an outlier that you may need to be aware of, you need to know about that now, not 10 minutes later after that data that contains some critical information has left the building, for example. This is where precisely IronStream can help. IronStream is a line of products specifically designed to meet these challenges. IronStream removes the barriers. It allows you to connect these systems to today's standard tools. Now, mainframe and IBM I can make use of up-to-date analytics and workflow platforms. Now, the SOC and operations teams can see a comprehensive view of activities across the entire business. These teams can now correlate information in the context of the wider business that includes critical processing both on mainframe and IBM I, as well as off mainframe and IBM I, in the context of the system that is now multifaceted, multi-platformed, and multi-tiered of different stacks of technology. They now have the ability to detect and respond to situations as they occur, not much later when a small issue has become a major problem. Or even better, get the visibility of issues before they have an impact, before your customers even know there's even a problem. So what does IronStream deliver? IronStream for mainframe and IBM I does all the heavy lifting for you. Data collection uses a small, lightweight agent deployed just where you need it. Information is converted into formats suited to the platforms such as ServiceNow. It's transferred from EBCDIC to ASCII automatically, for example, and becomes, human consumable as it transfers off platform into these modern tools. IronStream's automation can capture data as well as configuration items on these platforms and get it into your configuration management database. This allows your teams to work with up-to-date, accurate information to help them make better decisions and become more agile. Plus, it reduces the need to be a mainframe or IBM I specialist. Users can understand the information that IronStream captures. There are many use cases for IronStream, but typically they do fall into these two categories that I mentioned earlier. IT operations for monitoring health and status, and of course security and compliance. Within each of these, there are many areas of interest. IronStream can deliver metrics to support all of these and many more besides. Looking at this in a slightly different way, IronStream delivers information that can be used across IT operations and security, but it also, in the context of what we call now IT operations management, or ITOM. ServiceNow has become very popular for handling operations management information with things like configuration items, using discovery, CMDB population, and event management. And of course, IronStream can gather all of this information for you, so you can make the full use of the power of the ServiceNow platform. So let's take a deeper look at IronStream for ServiceNow. IronStream for ServiceNow can automatically discover what exists within your mainframe and IBM I systems and get the data into your CMDB, keeping it fresh, up to date, and relevant. Getting this information automatically eliminates errors, frees up resources, and ensures the processes and people that rely on it are running with good, solid information. IronStream can also detect situations on mainframe and IBM I systems that need attention, getting the team valuable insight into situations before they become a problem. Plus, using ServiceNow's workflow, it is possible to even automate the correction of a situation with IronStream's two-way communication back to the source platform. A problem can be resolved, potentially, without any human intervention. And IT can then be informed just to let them know that some corrective action has taken place and everything is now okay. IronStream for ServiceNow uses what we call an intelligent agent that acts as an interface between the mainframe or IBM I and ServiceNow. Currently, this operates with event management and discovery within ServiceNow, but our plans are to expand beyond this and to take our integration much deeper and broader in the near future. Discovery is easy to configure and can quickly capture resource information from your mainframe and IBM I environments. The configuration information is automatically gathered and added to the ServiceNow CMDB. Relationships and dependencies are automatically created so you can see how items relate to each other. Often it can be quite revealing. This allows you to get a comprehensive view of your infrastructure. Maybe you've not necessarily seen this before. You can now understand what exists in your IT landscape, assess any change impacts, and make better informed decisions. Plus, with the team better informed with this information, decisions now can be made quicker and with much less scope for any errors. ServiceNow themselves say that the CMDB is a critical foundation for many processes within their platform. It is used by many areas of their product. They say you need to have a fully populated, fresh CMDB to take full advantage of their functionality. Everything from change management, problem management to asset management relies on up-to-date CI information. IronStream can fill in the missing pieces from mainframe and IBM I. Out of the box, IronStream collects many different elements from these environments, ranging from basic LPAR information through to job activity, network connections, and even installed software. All of this is automatically added to your CMDB. There is no more time wasted spending hours filling in a spreadsheet, for example, which customers tell us they definitely do this, and also that information being pretty much out of date as soon as that task is completed. We have made the process of getting this information to ServiceNow as simple as possible, using certified apps available on the ServiceNow store through to having lightweight agents that run on the mainframe and IBM I. IronStream uses a small client typically installed on the ServiceNow mid server to coordinate requests and activities between ServiceNow and the legacy platform. A probe starts the discovery process, goes via the mid server to the agent on the mainframe or IBM I, where discovery takes place, and the results are returned to the CMDB back in ServiceNow. It's simple and very effective. If we look at ServiceNow Event Management, this extends the capabilities across, it looks like I have a little bit of a change going on there, across the ITOM area within ServiceNow. It leverages the workflow that is part of the ServiceNow platform. It really uses the tooling around that to reduce the noise of messages that are coming in, reduce the floods that you can see when something is happening, and it leverages that platform to pick out those things that really make elements of something you need to be aware of, so then you can factor that into your processing, your procedures, and even leverage the workflow that's in place within that area of the business. This architecture is also used within this event management piece to allow this two-way communication to take place, so that if a situation is detected, as I said, the workflow can kick in as needed to do whatever you want to do within the context of what is available within the workflow. So we have customers that use it, for example, to try putting something back online. So say a VTAM node on your mainframe environment has gone offline. It will try 3 times within a few seconds wait between each attempt, and then if it doesn't succeed, it will raise a ticket within IT for them to take a deeper look. If it does succeed, maybe on the first or second attempt, it may raise an informational ticket to actually say, hey guys, something did go offline, but I've managed to put it back online. So AI Ops can actually kick in here and actually take over for you and actually do some really valuable work, freeing up the team to do other items that are more important for them to focus on. Plus, beyond that, we also have things out of the box that you can take care of, from queue status to system messages, and as I said, connections and beyond. But it's also possible to capture your unique scenarios that are specific to your deployment. So you're not limited to what we deliver. You can actually expand upon that yourselves. As an example of how IronStream for ServiceNow can help an organization, and this particular organization is pretty large, here is a discovery use case for a US insurance company Unfortunately, I can't give you the name, but it is a well-known name if you knew what it was. They needed to get a complete view of their IT landscape. Their teams had very little visibility into their mainframe systems. They had to constantly call the specialist team to get the status of jobs and ask about issues. It was a counterproductive situation. They needed to add some automation. They needed to get a single view so they had a better control over what was happening in their IT landscape. So they turned to Precisely and IronStream to deliver exactly that. IronStream for ServiceNow gives them improved agility. They have very few calls now they have to make to the mainframe team because they're getting the information they need. Has a particular job finished or has something changed? They know the situation themselves. So they now have up-to-date information that is both reliable and accurate. And they can rely on IronStream to give them exactly what they need to maximize their investment within ServiceNow. So let's look at some key takeaways here. IronStream really does give you this better visibility across your IT landscape. It includes mainframe and IBM I, which can be challenging to bring into today's modern tools and platforms. It gives you better agility. It gives you less burden over trying to get this information. It automates some of the processes around what you need to do. It does the discovery for you, totally hands-free, and it allows you to leverage event management to be able to be more responsive, more agile around keeping your business exactly where you need to be. A combination of mainframe, IBM I, and ServiceNow is a good thing, and we are working to add to that, in the coming weeks and months as we move further forward. So thank you for your time. If anybody has any questions, maybe they've popped into the chat, we can try and address those now. If not, we were happy to take them offline. So I see one here. How exactly is data exchange between ZOS or ZOS and IronStream, which is running in ServiceNow, which is running on ServiceNow server, using MQ or ZOS Connect or TCP IP links, sockets? So that's a good question. It is a combination of all of the above to a point. We use TCP IP connections. Obviously, if you're talking out to the cloud, if you are running in some organizations, typically large government organizations, do not necessarily running in the ServiceNow cloud. They run on-premise, an exception rather than the rule. But it will be via a secure connection that goes out to the cloud. We're very aware of how this data flows around, and it uses standard processes and connections to actually interface with ServiceNow. So it is, as you'd expect it to be. Another question saying, we licensed IronStream for using with Splunk. Is this a separate license? It is a separate license. It is, in the context of Splunk, that is a separate product. You may have seen on one of the earlier slides that we had boxes around Kafka, Elastic, Splunk, etc. We do offer other products within the IronStream line. It is pretty comprehensive, and you can use it in many different ways. And we have customers using multiple instances of these products for many different use cases. ServiceNow, Micro Focus, Microsoft SCOM, they are all separate products. They have similar functionality because they're all doing things like discovery and event management. Likewise with Elastic integration and Splunk integration, etc. They are also similar. They offer the same kind of metrics going off to these platforms where you can really visualize and contextualize and correlate this information together using the power of these modern tools. So that's all the questions we have for now. As I said, if anybody has any further questions they want to talk to us about offline, we're more than happy to do that. But for now, I'll give you back some time to carry on with your busy day. Thank you for joining us.
All right. right. Well, thanks, Ian, for putting together a really informative presentation there and for all of your insights there in the Q&A as well. Really appreciate your time today. And before we wrap up, we have one more piece of business. It is the Amazon gift card prize drawing. And so the winner of the $250 Amazon gift card is Brian Roden from Arkansas. So congratulations to Brian Roden. We'll be in touch to get you your card. And with that, on behalf of the Actual Tech Media team, I want to thank Precisely and Ian for making this event possible. And thanks as always for attending and for all of your great questions. That concludes today's event. Have a fantastic rest of your day.